I was just remembering how much rambling we did on the episode.
Oh my God.
I wonder how I'm going to edit all that.
I don't think you should.
I'll just leave it.
I think you just leave it.
Good luck, guys. Sort through that mess.
Try to follow me now.
Hey, this is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery podcast.
And I am Kara.
And I am Megan.
I am too.
And same.
And me as well.
Kara has an episode today.
I do. Have you ever heard of the Green Children?
The Green Children? No.
I'm going to tell you
I've
about
heard
them.
of the Blue People.
No, I'm going to tell you about them.
Okay. Is it like the Jolly Green Giant? Is it his descendants?
It might be.
Oh.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was a beanstalk.
Ooh. Fairies. Is this a fairy story?
See, it could be that.
Okay.
Or
How about I let you tell the
Alien
story?
fairies.
Those
Listen to
are
some
my
of them.
favorite kind.
I love those kind.
Okay, I'll just let you tell the story instead
Yeah,
of trying to
sounds
be
good.
like guessing.
Sounds good.
That might make it hard to follow.
Maybe we should make a podcast episode of us just guessing the whole entire thing.
Just constantly.
Give the title and then just go.
Maybe it's this. Do you think it's this?
Yeah. And then it's not that at all.
It'd only be funny to me and you.
Yeah.
But it would be funny to me and you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There's several people that have tried to tell this story years after this happened, which was thousands years ago.
How long ago?
A hot minute.
It was a hot minute ago.
Yeah, it sure was.
Which could be 10 or it could be 1,000.
Well, it's during the reign of King Stephen in the 12th century.
Oh.
So 1135, 1154.
That's quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was
Was that your stomach?
Yeah, it's because she shifted. And so now my stomach is like, oh, I'm not full. I can be hungry.
There's
she
room.
likes, she
We
likes
should
to
put
keep
some food
feet
here.
up in there.
Yeah.
She likes to have her grimy fingers on my bladder
Mm-hmm.
and her feet in my stomach.
She's inside you. She can't be grimy yet.
I feel like she is sometimes.
I think she's
bad.
probably the cutest.
She's really bad. Okay, anyways.
Gosh, you're hard to follow.
Man, this is really
I
bad.
can't wait to just say that forever.
Hi,
Okay.
my name's Kara, and I'm really hard to follow.
One day you'll take your ADHD medicine again. Seriously, if you are the person who left that review, we understand. We know.
Right, we get it.
But, we do our best.
Imperfection is perfect.
And we love you. So don't. It's just fun. I like to give Kara a hard time about everything.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It's
and the
part of the
fact that
joy
we
of being
can,
my friend.
I know, the fact that we just laugh about it and we're not like angry and
Oh, yeah.
at you.
Definitely.
It is
It's
what
not
it is.
angry. It's just
No.
entertained. Okay.
Yeah.
So what happened in the 12th century?
Yes.
In Woolpit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this happened in Woolpit
Where is Woolpit?
during the Middle Ages. It's one of the most densely populated areas in rural England.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Rachel,
Rachel,
have you ever heard of Woolpit?
have you been to Woolpit? So it's harvest time, and the villagers in Woolpit are harvesting their crops.
Mm-hmm.
And there's two strange little kids
Mhm.
just standing by a literal wolf pit. They were really big pits that they used for trapping wolves.
Okay.
And they say that that's how the village got its name.
Wolf.
They took out the F. Woolpit.
Okay.
Woolpit.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, but this is 1135 and 1154. So we don't know that
Who
that's really
knows?
how the village got its name, but we're going with it.
I am, for sure.
But they were like, these kids are a little different.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because they were green.
Didn't blend in so well.
No, they didn't.
So everybody wasn't green in the 12th century?
No. Mm-hmm. Like bright neon green.
Bright neon green.
That's what, yeah, they're just like really bright green.
Huh.
And they didn't speak English. And their clothes were completely different than the people of Woolpit. So maybe they're time travelers.
Are we
Alien time
green in the
travelers.
future?
I don't know. The people were like, but they don't look like orphans. They don't look, I don't know.
Hungry or
Well,
unkempt or...
they did say that they were hungry, but they were picky about what they were hungry for.
Well, that's just being a kid.
Yeah. The townsfolk tried to give them some bread and they tossed it. They were like, mm-mm.
No, we love bread, but not that bread.
But they didn't say that in English. So whatever, gibberish.
Well, what they were saying, Kara, is we love bread, but not that bread.
So-
or any other bread you have to offer right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So the story goes, one of the villagers was like, I got it, beans. Let's give them green beans or peas or green peas or whatever they
Because
were.
they're green. So they must eat a lot of green things?
Yeah. Yeah. And they gave it to them, so the story says, with relish. More green.
Oh, God.
Why?
I'm just going to hope that relish doesn't mean the same thing as that means today.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, green beans with like topped with some dill pickle relish.
It's like dipping your edamame in. Yeah, so the kids loved that though.
Oh.
And the villagers were just like, I don't know. I have no idea what these kids are saying. But they're like pointing to things and like pretty much miming things to where they're like trying to tell their story and trying to tell the villagers what's going on. And the villagers got out of it. The kids just don't know how they got there.
Okay.
And they also got out of it that they were tending to their dad's cattle, got lost, and found themselves in Woolpit. So I don't know how the villagers got that out of miming.
Well, the other trouble with miming is if they were aliens or whatever, like the only context you have to try to decipher what they're saying is your own life. You don't have any idea what their life might actually be.
Right. And also we've discovered they have slit mouths.
What?
Aliens have slit mouths. You and I discovered this episodes ago. And some of them don't have mouths in their mouth where the mouths go. So
they don't have mouths and they just think things.
Yeah. So maybe that's how they.
Also, maybe there's different races of aliens, and we shouldn't profile them.
Right. Exactly. Very much.
I am so woke right now.
You know so
very
much.
Woke.
So much about aliens.
I know everything about aliens.
Exactly. God.
I'm not going to offend them.
No, don't. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2022.
Absolutely. There may be some that have slit mouths, and there may be some that
have normal mouths.
Yes, and are green.
And then don't have mouths at all.
Right. And they're all okay.
Right.
We're all fine.
We're hard to follow. Okay. So the villagers were like, we have no idea what we're doing with our lives. And these green kids. So we're just going to take them to Sir Richard de Calme. C-A-L-N-E. Mm-hmm.
They're taking him to him because he's like
the chief of the town, pretty much. Like the head townspeople. He was them.
He was multiple people.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And he's like, you know what? These kids can live in my house. That's totally fine. They're green. I don't care.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
I'm going to raise them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the boy got really sick and he passed away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He couldn't live off of what they lived on.
Green beans and relish? That didn't do it for him?
Didn't do it. His health just started deteriorating so quickly.
Oh.
But the girl thrived.
Yeah. How old were they? Do we know? We just know they were kids.
Megan, this is the 1100s.
But they could... Kara, I want to see newspaper accounts. I want to see birth certificates. I want to know exactly where they were born, when they were born. Because honestly, we don't even really know if they were kids, right? They were just small.
Green. Yeah.
Yeah.
Little green people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm believing that more and more.
Yeah, same. Okay. So then they start mixing up the girls, like they were mixing up the kiddos' diets or whatever, the humanoids, I don't know, whatever they are. They started mixing up their diets. And like I said, the boy just couldn't live off of that. But the girl, her skin started to lighten up with the change of things in her food.
Because she wasn't eating only green things anymore?
Yeah.
That would have to be weird, right?
Mm-hmm. She also learned to speak English, and then she was baptized, and when she was baptized, they changed her name to Agnes, because who knew what her name was?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know. And then she married a man at King's Lynn in a neighboring county in Norfolk.
Okay.
So when she learned English, she was like, guys, I have been trying to tell you this whole entire time.
Oh, wow.
What's going on with my life.
And now she finally can.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
So she can just like translate that.
Okay.
She's like, listen, people, my brother and I are from the land of St. Martin. There's really no sun there. It's perpetual twilight, and everybody else there is green, like us. So she was like, listen,
It's called St. Martin, though?
Yeah.
I just would have thought an alien world would have like a different name.
Yeah. But maybe that's translated to English. So maybe it was something else before this.
Okay. All right.
It was
maybe.
That.
I hope you didn't say anything wrong in alien language right then.
She said, we were looking after Dad's flock, and we found a cave. We're going to go in the cave.
Right, you're a kid.
Who wouldn't?
I still would.
And we saw a ray of bright light. This reminds me of the episode of Saturday Night Live where Ryan Gosling is on
with the aliens. Yeah.
My God.
I didn't see no light.
I was there with my, what should you say, my poop scoot.
I don't know. Everything she
and
said
my
was great.
whatever hanging out. Amazing. If you haven't watched it, go Google it. It's so great. So she was like, we're going to the light, literally. Like, our town has no light. We want to see what it is.
Oh, yeah.
She said Woolpit was a place brighter than we could have ever imagined, but she'd stopped there. Like, her memory, she didn't know like anything else. They ended up in Woolpit. And then she, like, since it had been so long, she couldn't remember how to get to her land. She couldn't remember what cave brought her there. So I'm sure people were like, well, take us there then.
Right.
And she was probably like, I have no idea. We were little green kids.
How long has it been? I guess we don't really know how long it's been.
Yeah. There's tons of theories and explanations to this.
Okay.
And I'm sure we have our own and we're going to solve it. And these people are going to be put to shame.
A lot to talk to the 12th century.
Yeah. So this article that I got this one from, it says, perhaps the most plausible explanation is that the children were suffering from hypochromic anemia. It was originally known as chlorosis, which is caused by malnutrition and poor diet. It results in giving a remarkably green shade to the skin.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it says that the fact that the girl's skin started to fade with a change of diet kind of
that would
upheld,
make sense. Yeah.
Another one, the children were of Flemish immigrants, and these people were persecuted and killed at the Battle of Fornham in 1173. Fornham, I'm hoping I'm probably not saying that right. St. Martin was nearby village.
Oh, it's St. Martin.
Yeah. Separated from Woolpit by a river a few miles. They said that they would often hear loud bells chimed. It's possible that the kids had been orphaned due to this battle, and they were literally living off the land. So all they had were like crops, which were green.
I was going to say, but they were keeping their dad's flock, but I guess we don't necessarily, that doesn't mean he was alive.
Right, exactly. So then it just says that when they heard bells in that town, they were like, oh my gosh, we need to head over here and see if we can get help. This one's my favorite. It's, children were either the aliens or some interdimensional species. Some theories claim them to be the people from some fairyland. Yeah. In 1996, an astrologer, Duncan Lunan, suggested that the children were accidentally transported from their homeland to Woolpit. Their home would be a planet trapped somewhere.
I like that his last name is Lunan.
I know.
Emphasis on the loon.
Lunan.
Sorry, that's just too good of a joke to pass up. He may be a perfectly nice man.
But yeah.
But, you know, his last name is Lunan, and he's saying some loony things.
Yeah. He said their planet was just trapped, orbiting around the sun. And so that created conditions of like a little like twilight zone between the hot surface and the frozen dark side. So that's why they were like, we came to the light.
Okay.
And then some say that they came from a mysterious underground world that's not mankind. Fairy circles.
Not known to mankind.
Kyla, no. How far is that from there?
True. Very true.
And then another one said that the kids had arsenic poisoning.
What?
They said that their caretaker, possibly an earl from Norfolk, left them to die in a forest. That's why the boy died, because the poison.
He was poisoned.
Yep. And then the girl recovered. I don't know.
And maybe they were abandoned because they were green.
Right.
And like had whatever that disorder was.
Yes. But, we don't know.
We don't know.
We're going to speculate.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Are we speculating right now?
Yep. Go.
Okay. I think because I just spent that day in the mountains.
Yep.
I had never really spent much time in far eastern Kentucky before, but the mountains are great and beautiful and perfect. What I was thinking is how, when you're deep in the mountains, the way the sun works feels weird because it gets blocked by the mountain.
Yep.
So like it gets darker sooner or whatever. And if you're in a holler, it might sort of
be real dark.
Never get very bright.
Yeah.
Of course, I know nothing about wherever this town is that they said they might have come from that was near Woolpit. But like, I wonder how isolated it was. Like, it's 1100s. How much knowledge did they have of the places around?
Right, exactly.
And
was it very woodsy?
What's the topography of the land?
Yeah.
It would still get dark, though.
Yeah.
Like that wouldn't explain how if it was twilight all the time, that implies no complete darkness. And that's strange. And there's no electricity to provide the artificial light. That's confusing for me. that I'm just like, they could have had this disorder that would explain the green.
Yes.
And then if they were from a town that was just had a sort of a weird relationship with the sun,
Right.
or
Aliens.
they're aliens, right?
But the fact, like, yeah, maybe they, and you know, there's towns in all these places that are not us that speak different languages that are just like
Yeah,
a couple hours away from each other,
right.
or have different accents, or just like us and here in Lexington, Kentucky. Do you
Because their whole
Google something?
because their whole story about the cave and all that could
Right.
still be like they just left the town they'd lived in their whole
Yeah.
lives. It makes me wonder how young they were, and
Right.
how much they understood about. You know, I remember when I was little and I lived in Lancaster, Kentucky, and my cousin lived in Oklahoma, and I thought Oklahoma was just right next to Kentucky because I didn't know of
Exactly.
anything in between it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, as I learned of new places around me,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh, well, then that one must just be right next to Oklahoma. And then, finally I grew up and got like a geography
gosh.
lesson. But for the longest time, I just thought everything was right next to each other and nothing else existed except the places I'd heard of. You know?
That was Sweet Little Willow on fall break. The GPS would be like, welcome to Vermont. And she would be like, are we still in the U.S.?
My kids still do that. And I'm like, you're 16 and 12. We need to have a discussion. Yeah. I have a lot of concerns about the American education system.
We're doing great for our children.
So yeah, I don't know.
I
guess if I want to come up with a rational explanation, that's my explanation.
Yeah.
But then also, it could just as easily be aliens to me.
Yeah, like if there was a battle and these kids were abandoned and they were still just doing what they had learned to do growing up, like maybe they did have to tend to the flock. They were just trying to stay alive. They found a cave and just wandered. I mean, maybe they weren't even trying to seek help. They just got curious after being on their own for forever.
I just wonder how old they were. When we say kids, that could mean anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I call some 19-year-olds kids. You know?
Exactly. When we drive downtown and there's like college students walking, I'm like, why is that kid a baby?
Wow, look at these children.
Yeah. Wow. I
don't know either. It's such a weird story.
It is. Green kids.
Green. So the fact that they're green could have a perfectly logical explanation. It just adds to the mystery.
But like bright green.
Yeah, very green.
Pictures or it didn't happen.
I do want to Google. What's that disorder called?
Chlorosis.
Or
something anemia. Oh,
there it is.
Hypochromic anemia.
Oh, no.
Oh, pictures.
No.
We don't want those pictures.
I don't want those pictures. Oh, that's green.
That kid's actually green. It's like you ran
like a
around.
yellow green.
Yeah, it's like you ran around in like right after mowing the yard without shoes on.
You got that fresh green on your feet.
Yeah.
So the thing is, it must be so rare that there's just not a lot of pictures of people. There's a lot of pictures of like blood work and like what your cells would look like to prove it. But there's not a lot of pictures of like, here's what a person with this disorder looks like. There's just that one picture.
But it's like a stock photo and they just changed the color of the kid's skin.
Right. It is a yellowish green.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in the 1100s especially, it would have been like, oh, that's witchcraft.
Right, exactly.
There's something definitely.
These are aliens.
Right. Well, we'd love to hear what you guys think.
Yes. Is it fairies? Is it aliens? Is it fairy aliens? Is it actual facts? Is it a folk tale?
Come talk about it in the Facebook group.
Yes,
that would be a good idea.
Yeah, we loved having you all in there.
All right. We'll be back Friday with another episode. Okay, we love you
So much.
Goodbye.